Hey guys, it's Ash with Gamers Compete here. This is part 8 of our Overwatch Complete Series. We're going to be continuing on right into the basics of movement. So first, when you use movement abilities such as Guardian Angel, or Lucio's Wall Ride, Doomfist's Rocket Punch, things like that, you can carry on some of that momentum by pressing space towards the end. Each one might have slightly different timing, but you can kind of play around with them and press space. And once you get the hang of it, you can conserve some of that momentum if you want to go farther distances. Then we'll get on to two. This is kind of a twofold, and it's counter movement and accelerated movement. So they're basically the same thing, just in different directions. So when you get boop, say it's a Lucio boop, it might be, say Lucio's set distance is 7 meters. I don't know if that's the exact number, but we'll just use that as for the example. So when you do counter movement, if Lucio boops you backwards, you hold down your W key or whatever your movement forward key is, and it's going to reduce the distance that you get knocked backwards. So it'll be something like 4 meters instead of 7. Now the same is true in the opposite direction, which is accelerated movement, which is he boops you backwards, you hold down the backwards key, and maybe it sends you 10 meters. And so you can kind of use this for when a Lucio goes to boop you off a ledge, you can hold input off to your right if he tries to boop you to the left off into the pit, or off the map. You can hold down the right key and it might save you. Now that's not guaranteed going to save you, but counter movement will increase your chances of survival from falling and things like that when you get booped. There are exceptions. If a Orisa halts you and then you immediately get booped by a Lucio, Orisa halt stops your movement input, so if Lucio and Orisa time it perfectly, they can kind of boop you out and you can't really resist too much. And then there's AD strafing. So AD strafing or Z shaking, things like that, it's kind of when if you're having a Widow duel, for example, and you're staring each other down, you don't want to stand still because then your headbox is easily hit, so you kind of spam your left and right keys in kind of a sporadic order, and you can throw in a crouch here and there, and that'll move your headbox around, move you around, so it makes you harder to hit. You can apply the same concept to just moving from point A to point B. You kind of do, I've heard it called Z shaking, and it's, instead of being a straight line, it's kind of a zigzag, and that makes you harder to hit. You don't want to jump too often when you're trying to avoid being shot, because when you jump, it puts you on a predetermined arc, and players that have been playing shooter games and things like that for a long time can sort of see that arc and predict where it's going to be and shoot you in the head, because it's not too hard. So another thing is, when you're running, even if it's, say you have two Reinhardts, and if one's running backwards, one's running forward, the one that's running forward is going to be faster because movement forward is faster in Overwatch. I'm going to say in most games, movement going forward is faster than moving backwards. So if you want to actually get out and just run away, sometimes it might be faster to turn around and just book it out of there. There are exceptions for characters like Reinhardt, who might be shielding his team, things like that. But there are tricks to increase your movement with different characters, and we'll be covering that more in depth with when we get into each character in depth. So that's basically movement, and I will see you guys later.